Real Madrid is in big trouble right now. All the main central defenders who are in the team were injured. There is only one Nacho left, and now he is the superhero of Madrid who drags the team on his back. In this video, we will tell you how Carlo Ancelotti will cope with this problem. Let's take the recent match against Athletic Madrid. And although the score on the scoreboard was 1-1, it was Real Madrid who demonstrated the higher quality of the game. It is interesting to understand this, given the pre-match limitations of Carlo Ancelotti. His team lost Antonio Rudiger and Aurelien Tchouameni, who was disqualified, and this with long-term injuries to Eder Militao and David Alaba. Things got even worse right before the match when it turned out that Vinicius would not be able to play. The Brazilian was included in the first draft of the starting lineup, but was later excluded. First, he was replaced by Joselu, and later by Brahim Diaz. Atletico had a squad close to optimal. Rodrigo Riquelme and Marcos Llorente got places on the flanks. There is intense competition here. Even the exit of a completely different pair, Nahuel Molina and Samuel Lino, would not be surprised. The main theme of the match is Carlo's tactical work to mask weaknesses in the center of defense. The Italian helped the team with two important moves. Valverde's dual role has reduced the burden on the defensive center. Even after Alaba's injury, Ancelotti announced that if the crisis worsens, Tchouameni and Carvajal can play in the center of defense. It is unlikely that Carlo then assumed that the cue would reach Dani so quickly. Important, Ancelotti did not just put the next one in the hierarchy in the hope that everything would work out. The coach took into account the lack of focus of Dani's position and actively helped him. The clearest example is the role of Valverde. The Uruguayan sat in the line of defense when Saul rose higher. This helped Carvajal not to be distracted by secondary tasks. Ideally, Brahim should have taken Valverde's position in the center of the field, but the players did not always have time to adapt so clearly. The vulnerability of such a configuration loomed on the opposite flank. When Valverde went on the defensive, Real Madrid lost one midfielder in the center, making it difficult for Madrid to fill the entire width of the field. Transfers from flank to flank were fraught with danger. For example, at that moment, Griezmann took advantage of the free zone, accelerated, and created the most dangerous moment for Atletico in the first half.
Griezmann scored 9 goals against Real Madrid across his career, and has scored in all the derbies so far this season. That's a fine ball.
Atletico have not made such crosses a permanent tool. It was not possible to open the opponent regularly. This pace of play worked in Real Madrid's favor. It reduced the load on the central defenders and helped them not to be distracted from their main tasks. Madrid had a scheme with 5 defenders, only when Saul rushed into the attack. When he stayed deeper, Valverde was in position in midfield. Valverde's job was to contain Saul's jerks. This is relevant not only in the context of helping the protection center. In the first-round derby, Saul's jerks helped to tear the right flank of Real Madrid. To neutralize his movement means to neutralize an important mechanism of Atletico in attack. Valverde did it. Madrid used possession time as a defensive tool. If we have the ball, it means they won't score for us. Kroos and Camavinga are the gurus of this technique. Using positional combinations, Madrid attacked without an obvious intention to overload the opponent's defense. The priority goal was reliable control. Eduardo Camavinga and Toni Kroos have become the center of such strategies. Both brilliantly kept the ball under pressure. They finished as leaders in the number of passes with an accuracy of 93%. The Frenchman's first inaccurate pass happened only in the second half, in the 51st minute. The influence of the midfielders helped to keep the match within a comfortable framework for Madrid. In addition to individual qualities, the peculiarities of the ownership structure helped. Real Madrid almost did not fill the central zone, sometimes defiantly ignoring the position of the striker and those who are close to it. The situation is similar on the right flank. Brahim and Rodrigo are in very wide positions. There is no one in the center. Brahim and Rodrigo formally duplicated the side defenders. Such a structure is not very good for putting the opponent's defense in a dead end, but it is good not to lose the ball in sharp zones because there is almost always an advantage on the flank. You can keep the ball. Fewer risky transfers through the center. Potential losses will be in the flank area. Always a large number of players behind the ball line increases the willingness to counterattack. First of all, such an arrangement in attacks was an effective defensive move, but it indirectly worked in Brahim's goal. The scored ball was born from a transfer to such a situation. It is difficult to to escalate with such a combination. But when discounts from rivals and a series of successful rebounds help, a goal is possible. It has become a nice bonus. The main benefit of the reception is reliability and control. In this regard, Ancelotti's structure has worked brilliantly. Second half, Simeone opens up and gets a Real Madrid counterattacks. At halftime, Atletico released Molina instead of Rodrigo. This led to a chain of changes. Saúl left to play left lateral. Molina settled on the right, and Llorente now acted in the center of midfield. The location in the Atletico attack looked even more interesting. There were rearrangements on the left edge, during which Hermoso became the lateral, and Saul went into the central zone. Madrid has also rebuilt. The hosts no longer use the Valverde raid scheme in defense. We sat down in 4-5-1. Bellingham remained in front, and Rodrigo and Diaz worked on the flanks. Now the load on the central defenders was reduced in a different way. Rodrigo and Diaz played much deeper than in the first half. In the case of a pass to the flank, they were the ones who advanced to the laterals of Atletico. Consequently, the outfield defenders Vasquez and Mendy could stay in the central area to help. Valverde was in a higher position. He still did double work. He periodically moved forward to help Bellingham. But more importantly, the Uruguayan was the connecting element of fast attacks, which turned out to be very dangerous. The super-attacking structure of Atletico revealed the game in both directions. During the half, Simeone additionally refreshed her with substitutions. As a result, it helped overload the Real Madrid defense after a long pass in the moment with a late goal. The goal did not follow from the logic of the meeting, but there is definitely a direct connection between the willingness to take such risks and the occurrence of this situation. At the same time, the overall balance of risks was hardly in favor of Atletico. Real Madrid took more chances from the opportunities for counterattacks than Atletico created due to a bold location. I think it was a very good match from our side. We controlled the game well, but we were unlucky to miss the ball in the last minute. We deserved to win and won a lot of games ourselves in the last minutes, so we can't blame ourselves for anything, said the head coach of Real Madrid. Madrid was unlucky, but Ancelotti definitely won the tactical duel. Yesterday, the Italian outplayed not only someone, but also the circumstances. Let's talk about the timing of the return of Real Madrid defenders after injuries. Militao is recovering faster than expected after the anterior cruciate ligament injury he sustained earlier in the season. Perhaps he will be able to return before the second leg of the 1/8 finals of the Champions League. Possible return date, February 18th. The Austrian defender was unlucky. He became the third Real Madrid player to suffer an anterior cruciate ligament injury this year. He has yet to undergo surgery to solve this problem. Many sources report that he will not play again this season. Rudiger has recovered from his injury and will be able to play the next match. We are going to see a very difficult season. This will make watching football much more interesting. Subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss our releases, and for now,